I'm sorry. Your father's memory is being destroyed by plaques. It's only a matter of time until his brain shuts down completely. I'll never forget the day I heard those words. My whole world came crashing down, and there was nothing his primary doctor or a dozen other specialists could do about it. What started as forgotten words, misplaced keys, or a lost wallet, was now threatening his entire livelihood, interfering with his cognitive abilities, turning him into a person I could hardly recognize. It hurts me to remember those long and painful nights at the hospital, sitting by his side as he was slowly losing the ability to recognize my face, with his eyes staring into the abyss. The only reason I'm talking about it today is because it also led me to discover a scientific breakthrough that can not only stop memory loss, but even reverse it, protecting your brain for the long run. What makes it so powerful? Because it targets the underlying root cause of brain deterioration. Something called a leaky brain that clogs your brain with toxic tangles and plaques, causing your brain cells to die. The problem that gets worse with every year, which means that if you don't target it now, it may be too late. But when you fix the leaky brain with a powerful remedy I'm about to share with you in a few minutes, you'll activate your body's natural protection mechanism, which shields your brain cells, instead of letting them die prematurely. Hi, my name is Alan Walker, and the information I'm about to reveal to you today could put me in hot water with quite a few of the most powerful executives at Big Pharma, who were trying to silence me before I reveal my findings. Those greedy fat cats don't want you to know that declining brain ability and worsening memory is actually a symptom of something much more severe, and that treating it with pricey prescription drugs doesn't really solve the problem, or that the real cause of your brain's deterioration comes from somewhere else, the small part of your body that's been breaking down for years. In fact, by the time you start forgetting little things like conversations, people's names, or appointments, you probably already have plaques and tangles accumulating in your brain, a problem much bigger than you realize. That will lead to age-related memory loss, and it's urgent that you treat this problem before it gets worse, because the brain changes become permanent and could put you at risk of accidental falls, losing your independence, or even dying prematurely. That's why I'm talking to you today, to share what I have found about the real cause of your worsening memory, and the breakthrough discovery at Harvard that can help you get back your old self again. So yes, in just a moment, you'll find out how to reactivate your 20-year-old brain and never have to worry about forgetting things again. It's something I discovered after spending hundreds of hours digging through medical research at the National Library of Medicine and talking to my contacts in the scientific community. As I was frantically searching for a way to save my father's brain, this memory-boosting breakthrough is what I call the most powerful memory accelerator known to science, because in clinical studies it's been shown to boost your memory in just 1 hour. So if you're ready to join thousands of Americans who use this breakthrough with rave results to banish those memory lapses for good, while protecting yourself from potential loss of memory and cognitive abilities, then stick with me for the next few minutes as I show you how to get rid of those brain hiccups, so you can start feeling like yourself again, quick-witted and sharp-minded, like you did when you were in your teens. This video is short, but it could literally add years or even decades to your life. I'll share the studies that prove this in a moment. As I mentioned already, my name is Alan Walker, and I'm a health researcher. Every day I work to discover medical breakthroughs for a living. Yet I never would have heard about this one if not for my dad. He always had this larger-than-life type of personality. Smart, full of energy. He worked as an engineer his entire life, but suddenly things changed. He could no longer do the mental calculations in his head, and he had to retire from the job he loved. He stopped playing golf and cards, things he used to enjoy for decades. He no longer looked forward to going out of the house and refused to socialize. Instead, he sat on the couch all day and watched TV or napped. My mom said he was sleeping 10 to 13 hours a day instead of his normal 7 hours. Whatever was going on with his brain was turning him into a completely different person. So I made a point to visit my parents at least once a week, whether it was for dinner, a game of cards, or just to help around the house. And one particular event about 2 years ago really got me worried. As we were sitting on the patio, I noticed my dad acted a little strange, like he was confused and couldn't understand what was going on. When I asked him about it, he didn't say much, but it was obvious that he wasn't himself, and that he was suffering in silence from whatever was going on with his brain. When I asked my dad if he'd seen a doctor, he got angry and told me that I should have more important things to worry about than his senior moments, because when you begin to age, your memory is not as good as it used to be. I didn't like his answer, but out of respect, I didn't feel like questioning my dad, a man who had always been so confident, strong, and in control of his own destiny. So I decided to just let it be and hope things worked out. Unfortunately, things went from bad to worse. As time passed, he was less and less interested in going outside or talking to anybody. His strange behavior episodes continued. He even laughed about how he started a car one morning without opening the garage door first. I was horrified, and I insisted that he needs to see a doctor. My mom agreed. Unfortunately, that was one of the worst decisions we'd ever made, because all the doctor did was listen to my dad patiently for about 10 minutes, then gave him some simple tests and asked him to draw a clock showing 10 minutes after 3. When my dad wasn't able to complete the task, the doctor said he has an early stage of age-related memory loss, and there's no cure for that. The only thing he could do was to prescribe Aricept, even though it really doesn't stop memory loss, but it slows it down somewhat. We were all devastated by the news. We had no choice but to follow the doctor's orders, so we took the prescription and left. Nightmares started when my dad started taking the drug. He'd been up all night, talking in a state of confusion, and during the day he was like a zombie, with no appetite, refusing to get out of bed because he was so tired. Even more alarming, he started to have big gaps in his long-term memory. Clearly, the drug was making things worse. It was completely disappointing. And when I looked through the side effects of this drug, I almost flipped out. Vomiting, diarrhea, tiredness, constipation, dizziness, fainting, headache, mental depression, pain, bleeding, and bruising. All these symptoms for a drug that didn't even do anything to save his memory. Was the doctor trying to help? Or was he just pushing the drugs for Big Pharma? We felt so hopeless, like there was nothing we could do and nowhere to turn. But then things took an unexpected turn. I can still remember this moment clearly. It was a warm Sunday afternoon in early May. Me, my mom, and my dad were sitting on the porch talking. My dad was in an unusually good mood and was telling an interesting story. I thought that maybe he's getting better and there's hope after all. Then my dad went upstairs to pick up some photos he was going to show me. Suddenly, we heard a loud banging crash. When we ran inside the house, we found my dad lying on the floor in an awkward position, unable to move. He'd fallen downstairs and was in excruciating pain. We rushed him to the emergency room, and when the doctors took some x-rays, the results left us in a mild state of shock. He fractured his kneecap and 6 ribs. It seemed there was more going on with his health than we had ever imagined. His brain was now deteriorating fast, causing him to lose balance as he walked. He was also losing muscle strength, which made walking even more difficult. According to the doctors, brain degradation was the reason for his fall, and because my dad's case was so advanced, there's nothing more they could do. It was only a matter of time until his brain shuts completely. The horror and disbelief I felt were simply overwhelming. Horror that my father's brain went downhill so fast, destroying his memory, his motor functions, and even his ability to walk. And I could not believe that it all started from simple forgetfulness and a few senior moments. In fact, I wasn't ready to accept the painful truth until I saw the brain scans, showing the 6 spiderweb-like plaques and tangles in his brain. I was furious that with all our technological advances, our modern medicine still had no answer to this problem, and that my father's case was far from unique. 6 million other people in the U.S. are suffering from pneumonia, frequent falls, and ability to care for themselves because of brain deterioration. Seeing my dad lying helpless in a hospital bed was the reality I could not accept. So I began a frantic search for a solution, racing against the clock to save my father's brain. I was determined to use my background in medical research to see if I can find a cure. It seemed so helpless, but what did I have to lose? So I went to work like a madman possessed, spending every waking hour researching. At first I asked myself a simple question: what causes us to lose memory in the first place? Turns out that scientists had no clear answer to that. Sure, it's possible to become forgetful if you're sleep deprived, taking certain types of drugs, smoking, or drinking excessively. But my dad wasn't doing any of those things. He'd always kept himself in good health. What about those plaques and tangles I saw on my dad's brain scan? Could that be the reason for his memory loss? I started to investigate and found that they are special proteins called amyloid beta and tau. Research communities agreed it's a common characteristic for those who suffer memory loss. But here's where it gets interesting. For years, scientists thought if we could just get rid of these plaques and tangles, the brain will be like new again. Pharmaceutical industry spent billions of dollars to come up with a drug, but in the end, getting rid of those things didn't do anything to improve memory, which is why currently there's no drug that could cure memory loss. But in 2017, Harvard scientists made a shocking new discovery. It turns out those plaques and tangles in the brain are actually working as antimicrobial agents, which means they're trying to protect the brain, and big pharma drugs were trying to remove them from the brain. This didn't make any sense. No wonder the prescription drugs were making my dad's memory even worse. It would be like removing the firefighters who were trying to stop the forest fire from burning. I decided to investigate why the antimicrobial agent was in the brain in the first place. What was it protecting the brain from? Environmental pollutants? Viruses? Inflammation? I had to dig much deeper into my research. For weeks, I was going around in circles. After months of work, I was nowhere closer to the solution. Just when I got ready to give up, I got a break. A University of Southern California study, published in the scientific journal Nature Medicine, explained everything. Turns out, the real reason for early memory loss symptoms is something called leaky brain. That's right, you may have heard about the leaky gut, but leaky brain is a much more serious condition. If you're over the age of 30, there's a 99% chance you could have it. You see, your brain is your body's most sensitive organ. It has a shield called the BBB, which stands for the blood-brain barrier. It works like its own security system, letting oxygen and nutrients in, while keeping toxins, heavy metals, and other contaminants from entering and damaging the brain. But as you age, the blood-brain barrier gets compromised. It slowly loosens and becomes porous. This can cause a whole range of problems for your brain. Harmful bacteria, chemicals like phthalates found in plastic and chemical cleaners, benzene from car exhaust, detergents, and even pesticides from the food leak into the brain and start wreaking havoc, causing anything from inflammation, memory loss, brain fog, difficulty concentrating, diminishing your mental ability. Your body recognizes that your brain is under attack and launches its own defense, the antimicrobial agents, to protect itself, but it simply gets overwhelmed and can't keep up with the onslaught. One of the biggest threats to your BBB? Stress. That's right. According to researchers at Tufts University in Boston, stress, if not handled well, will completely decimate the blood-brain barrier. And extreme stress has been shown to increase inflammation in the brain because it almost doubles the number of holes in the blood-brain barrier. There's no doubt that my father was under a lot of stress. He must have noticed his memory fading, unable to do his job. We've all been under a lot of stress, especially after the events of 2020. So the first step in rebuilding the blood-brain barrier is to reduce stress. Second is to repair the damaged blood-brain barrier. Third is to heal the brain and protect it from future damage. Armed with this plan, I started looking for a natural remedy that could help alleviate the stress without causing any more damage to my father's brain. Looking through published studies at the National Library of Medicine, I found an ancient herb called Hypericum perforatum. It grows in pristine valleys in Western Asia, the land where people have the lowest rates of age-related memory loss anywhere in the world. This herb was used for thousands of years as part of Ayurveda medicine. So popular, it was named a battlefield secret of the Roman Empire because that gave their soldiers an edge over the enemy. But can it pass the test of modern science? Researchers at prestigious Humboldt University in Germany decided to find out. They took 94 women and 46 men and gave them special tests to see how this herb affects their stress levels. These tests were performed before and after ingesting the herb. In fact, only half of these people got the herb. The others got a placebo, a fake pill. The research showed that the people who took the placebo experienced only 3.6% improvement in stress levels. But the volunteers who got the real thing experienced 3 times less stress when compared to those who took the placebo. That's a 203% improvement. And people also reported feeling less jittery and having less negative thoughts. This herb is so effective that pharmaceutical companies in Europe prepare standard formulations of this herb that are taken by millions of people. But stress and feeling jittery is not the only thing it protects you from. According to an award-winning book, Herbal Medicine, written by 2 leading PhD scientists, it's significantly improved hippocampus-dependent spatial working memory. It's the type of memory that allows you to navigate in a familiar city so you can find what you're looking for and avoid getting lost. And if that wasn't enough, this ingredient stops inflammation in its tracks. It was incredible. A simple herb from Asia not only can reduce stress but also improve memory. With my heart racing, I started wondering if there were other natural compounds that could do the same thing. After reviewing more than 317 different exotic medicinal plants and herbs, I ultimately settled on 8 powerful super ingredients, which combined together appeared to have the potential to fix the broken blood-brain barrier and repair the damage to the brain while improving memory. Here they are. Memory boosting nutrient number 1, Hypericum perforatum. also known as St. John's wort. It's the stress-reducing memory supercharger I just told you about. Memory-boosting nutrient number 2? Nalcar, or N-acetyl L-carnitine. Researchers found that Nalcar helps repair the blood-brain barrier by reducing mitochondrial decay caused by oxidative damage. Oxidative stress is perhaps the main culprit of your brain deterioration over time. If you ever saw your brain affected by oxidative stress, this is what it would look like. And Nalcar is what protects your brain from damage by protecting mitochondria, the mini energy factory in each cell. When it goes, so do your brain cells. But Nalcar is there to repair the damage, and that's just the beginning. In a breakthrough study of centenarians, Nalcar reversed up to half a century of brain aging, improving memory test scores by a whopping 583%. It helped give 100-year-olds a new lease on life. That's right, the participants in that study were at least 100 years old and in decreasing mental health. At the end of the test, those who took Nalcar were 583% smarter than the ones who took the placebo. They also had about 111% more mental energy, all because their mitochondria delivered essential nutrients, which turned this fuel into brain energy. What's more, it also has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Memory-boosting nutrient number 3, phosphatidylserine, or PS for short. It comes from soy or cabbage. There are over 400 studies showing this nutrient improves memory and brain power. In a double-blind placebo-controlled study, memory scores for the people who received it were almost 3 times higher compared to placebo. In another study, people who took PS had their brain executive functions, mental flexibility, and memory improving significantly. And if that wasn't enough, PS also helps get rid of oxidative stress I mentioned earlier and reduce inflammation. Memory-boosting nutrient number 4? Huperzine A. It comes from Chinese club moss, a rare exotic plant. This nutrient also improves memory. It does that by boosting the amount of neurotransmitters in the brain. In a clinical trial, over half of the patients who took Huperzine A showed a 36% memory improvement compared to placebo. It also has an amazing ability to protect your nerve cells, shielding them against damage and degeneration. And then there is memory-boosting nutrient number 5, ginkgo biloba. It is so powerful that in a groundbreaking study on 1,200 patients, this ancient plant extract improved concentration by 25%. Another study of 256 middle-aged volunteers showed ginkgo biloba can lead to substantial improvements in working and long-term memory. Men and women over 50 with moderate memory problems showed significant superiority in cognitive tests after taking this plant extract. Memory-boosting nutrient number 6, L-glutamine. This amino acid that's also been shown to improve learning ability and memory. In clinical trial, L-glutamine protected the brain from stress and its effects on brain function. Memory-boosting nutrient number 7, Brahmi. This exotic flower that grows in the lush wetlands of Southeast Asia is perhaps the most important memory booster of all because it does what no other nutrients can do. According to the University of Michigan, it contains special compounds called bacosides that can repair damaged neurons and improve nerve impulse transmission, which simply means it speeds up the brain signals that make thinking faster. In a clinical trial of 76 adults, the group that received Brahmi demonstrated improved memory recall and retention by a whopping 100%. And finally, memory-boosting nutrient number 8, vinpocetine. This molecule is synthesized from the blue periwinkle flower, and it's been used in American folk medicine for 3,000 years. While it does not make any changes to your brain directly, instead it does something far more important. It boosts the amount of healthy blood flow to your brain by a whopping 25% within just 30 minutes, which is like stepping on the gas pedal in your car. It means lightning-fast thinking, quicker memory recall for things like names, and fewer senior moments. Vinpocetine multiplies the effect of the other nutrients. It helps get into the brain where it's so badly needed, which is the best way to make sure you get the most from the formula, even if your blood-brain barrier isn't as efficient as it used to be. Once I had my list of 8 super ingredients that could repair the blood-brain barrier and improve memory, I went to work combining them all into a single pill form, something that was easy to swallow yet effective. I must tell you that I was obsessed over the quality, purity, and bioavailability of these ingredients because I knew this was the only chance to save my father's brain. After testing a few different labs, I found the one that could do the best job of combining all 8 ingredients into one simple formula. When it was done, I gave it to a few of my friends who were suffering from scatterbrains, asking them to test it and report back. And when they said the results were phenomenal, and started giving bottles out to their friends and acquaintances, who then asked for even more. I knew I was onto something. A big break came when a friend of a friend who was a specialist of naturopathic medicine gave it to some of her patients to test it, and all of them came back asking where they could buy it. A few of the folks even started writing about my formula in online forums. That's when even more people asked for samples. I still needed to get this to my dad and pray that it wasn't too late. So on a cool December afternoon, I came to see my dad and gave him a single dose of my memory-boosting formula. Then all I could do was wait and hope for the best. After the first week, there wasn't much of a difference. I was worried that all my effort was in vain, but I did the one thing I could. I armed myself with patience. Finally, on the 8th or 9th day, tears of joy were coming down my eyes. As he spoke to me, it was obvious that his mind was clearer and he was less confused than he had been in months. He seemed happier than I'd seen him in years. It was like he was slowly coming back to me. Weeks after that, things improved even more. He seemed like he was almost back to his old self. And then on January 14th, there was a real moment of truth. It was his regular appointment, and when the doctors did another brain scan, they said that it was a true miracle. The brain inflammation that had been spread in my dad's brain tissue was almost gone. Not only did his brain scan look like when he was in his 20s, but almost like magic, he was relaxed, happier, and more fun to be around. And when I told the doctor that I'd been giving my father a nutrient-rich mixture with brain-boosting super herbal extracts, he seemed very skeptical, but I could understand him. Our modern medicine treats everything with prescription drugs, and this was outside of his expertise. So I told him about the scientific research and promised to leave a few test sample bottles of my formula with him and his nurses so they can give it to their patients. Then I took my father home. You can't imagine the pride and joy I felt having saved my dad from this health disaster. He was so happy to be back home. A few weeks later, a surprising thing happened. His doctor called back. He said that after checking the scientific research behind the ingredients, he tested my memory-boosting formula and was seeing incredible success. It was working better than anything else he'd tried. It was just one problem. The ingredients were hard to come by, and I had nothing in stock to give him. An idea popped into my mind. If 6 million people in America are suffering from memory loss, and 1 in 3 seniors dies from it, then perhaps my formula could help save so many lives. So I ordered my lab to start producing the formula for the public. I wanted them to use the purest and most bioavailable ingredients possible. This was important because 95% of the supplements do not contain the ingredients they claim, and I wanted to make sure that I was delivering the most effective memory-boosting remedy on the planet. I decided to call my discovery Neurodrine, because that's what it does. It helps protect the neurons in your brain by rebuilding the blood-brain barrier, while at the same time fixing the damage that's already been done. Plus, it also helps reduce everyday stress and protects your brain from oxidation. And now you're probably asking how you can get Neurodrine for yourself, along with how often you need to take it for the best results. I wish I could just send you to the secure order page, but unfortunately that's not possible. The 8 ingredients inside Neurodrine are sourced from all over the world. This means we have long periods of time where we cannot source all ingredients on time to make the capsules. And when we finally do, then the challenge becomes to keep them fresh throughout a proprietary combining process. Additionally, because Neurodrine is so good at improving the blood-brain barrier and boosting memory, pretty much everyone who uses it keeps asking for more and more of the stuff, because they never again want to be stuck with senior moments. Neurodrine is also becoming extremely popular in hospitals and doctors' offices. This is putting even more strain on production, especially because it takes up to 3 months to create a new batch. Plus, because taking Neurodrine regularly douses inflammation, keeping your brain sharp. Something that can help unclog your memory neurons, improve your memory, attention, and focus. Even people who don't have memory problems want it, so they can keep their blood-brain barrier in tip-top shape, avoiding memory problems in the future. For these reasons, there's always a hard limit to the number of bottles we can ship out in any single week. So we're forced to limit Neurodrine to only those folks who are the most serious about restoring a healthy memory. That being said, I also don't want anyone to suffer from a fuzzy mind, forgetfulness, and feeling confused, which is why in the next few moments, I'll let you know how to get your hands on a brand new bottle of Neurodrine as part of our breakthrough new pilot program. Now back to the other question. How much Neurodrine should you take? The answer is simple. Just take 1 capsule per day for at least 30 days. The reason why you should take it for 30 days is pretty straightforward. Why Neurodrine starts to work almost immediately. There's also likely a large buildup of inflammation inside your body due to the damage to blood-brain barrier, something that's attacking not only your brain cells, but also leaking toxins into your brain. And you want to make sure you've fully restored your blood-brain barrier and cleared every single trace of inflammation. Remember, your scattered memory, lack of focus, low mental energy levels, and stress all are just late-stage symptoms of a much bigger problem. So even after Neurodrine has given you back complete control of your brain, you'll want to continue rooting out the inflammation from every nook and cranny of your body where it's hiding. That's why most medical doctors recommend that you choose at least 3 bottles of Neurodrine, and 6 bottles if you want to be completely safe. Then take it for a period of at least 90 days. That's how you can absolutely guarantee that your inflammation is clobbered up and the blood barrier is fully restored to the healthy level. You'll also get the side benefits of the 8 super ingredients inside, including reduced anxiety, improved mood, normalized blood pressure, reduced risk of respiratory infections, improved digestion, stronger muscles, improved nutrient supply to your brain, better circulation and heart health, sharper vision and eye health, and most importantly, improved brain health and cognitive abilities. This is vital because attacks on your brain never end. As you know, it's part of our modern life, which is why it's crucial you use Neurodrine as part of a protective agent, something that continues to address the source of brain inflammation before it has a chance to wreck your memory. Across the U.S., millions of people are suffering from reduced mental ability. All are discovering this website from family and friends and a small handful of medical doctors who are brave enough to take a stand against Big Pharma. They've found that this remedy is giving people their lives back. People like Michael B., who says, "I'm a 64-year-old dentist who's still busy professionally. I've started to experience some of the normal brain issues of my age. I didn't realize the reason for my mental decline could be the deterioration of the blood-brain barrier. Tried Neurodrine and have been using it for a couple months. It improved my memory and concentration. I also noticed that I have more mental stamina and I don't get tired easily. In a world of exaggerated claims and scammy products, this product really works well." I never write these reviews, but I came back to the site to check out other products and felt compelled to give my review because I am happy with Neurodrine. And Jody M., who recently wrote to us, "To be honest, I was skeptical at first. I've tried too many formulas in the past. I didn't feel any difference. But after hearing about this one, I decided to give it a try. After about 2 weeks, I definitely noticed a clearer mind. I didn't have to write things down as much anymore. I also gave it to my husband, and he noticed the difference too. We both comment on each other how our memory seems faster." Along with David B., who says, "My memory was getting a bit patchy, and it seemed harder to come up with words to express what I was trying to say. So I bought this supplement, hoping it was going to help. A couple weeks later, I felt a noticeable improvement. My memory recall is quicker, my mind seems sharper, and the brain fog seems to have gone, and I feel like my brain is younger. I will definitely order again." These real-life testimonials you just heard are only a few of the many I'm receiving each week about Neurodrine. And you should know that Neurodrine is only available through this website, while there are supplies in stock and I'm able to stay in business. Because the truth is, I'm currently facing multiple injunctions from pharmaceutical company lawyers who absolutely hate what I'm doing. They hate the fact that there is a natural and effective remedy for memory issues, brain fog, and stress that is actually good for the body. I'm fighting a war every day not to let Big Pharma win. But I don't want you to wait on taking action and reclaiming your brain with Neurodrine, because it's your real chance to fix that leaky blood-brain barrier that's destroying your brain from the inside. It's something that can protect you for decades to come, so that you lower your risk of brain deterioration, something that affects millions of Americans, and you don't have to sit around and watch your memory getting worse, or use expensive and side effect-filled treatments that may only provide temporary relief for the symptoms. Treatments that don't address the real source of the problem, leaky brain. Think about how good it will feel to finally stop the leak of toxins into your brain. How good it will feel to know you've cleared out the clinging, destructive inflammation from every corner of your brain. To have your memory back. All it takes is one powerful mental sharpness activating capsule per day. Of course, that's not to say that there aren't other options. For example, you could try oral medications that are riddled with side effects and can cause brain swelling and brain bleeding while you're taking them. They can also cost up to $56,000 per year or more, and they don't even treat the root cause of the problem. It's the same with experimental and potentially risky treatments, like electrical nerve stimulation or bright light therapy, which zaps your brain with electricity or flashes a bright light into your eyes and will cost a small fortune. These so-called solutions all but guarantee that your cognitive decline will continue getting worse. Plus, you'll still have inflammation poisoning your blood and your brain, causing a whole list of terrible brain issues you can't get rid of, and then leads you down the spiral of more medications with more side effects and more health problems along the way. That's why I originally set the investment in Neurodrine at $147 per bottle, which I think is extremely fair. It's a fraction of what you would pay for all the doctor's visits, therapy, oral medications over the course of the year. Yet unlike those other options, Neurodrine is a scientifically proven remedy that treats the root cause of worsening memory, brain fog, and lack of focus. Plus, considering that each breakthrough capsule contains the purest and most bioavailable form of these super ingredients in existence, 147 is a steal. But despite all that, this is not about making profit for me. Of course, I could always use the money to help with my legal bills, especially since every day I'm fighting the prescription drug cartels who are constantly trying to shut me down, even though my mission is to help people. I don't want your money. I want you to have a strong brain. I want to save more people's lives like I did my dad's. I want you to be able to access Neurodrine. That's why I'm offering it to the public for the first time through a special pilot program. And if you act right now, you can get your hands on Neurodrine for just $69 per bottle. And actually, this is just the start. I understand that a healthy brain isn't just important to you. It's also important to your family and loved ones. And because I want to make sure that you and people you care about enjoy a bulletproof mental ability, I've created a special discounted package for you. You can get 6 bottles of Neurodrine for only $49 per bottle, a total of $294. I'm offering this special discounted package to you today through this website as part of my pilot program, but only while supplies last. Plus, you'll also get free shipping today, which is a $9.99 value. When I run out of Neurodrine again, it will take up to 3 months before another batch is available. The price will be different. So click the 6-bottle package below right now to secure your order. This is truly one of the smallest but most important investments that will make the biggest difference in your health and well-being. A single bottle of Neurodrine will repair your blood-brain barrier while at the same time flushing years of inflammation from your brain. 3 bottles will do the same while also rebuilding and regrowing new neurons in your brain while also ensuring that inflammation will be cleared from every corner of your brain. And 6 bottles of Neurodrine will fully restore a youthful brain and give you an entire 6 months of protection, while allowing your brain to heal and strengthen, protecting you from those senior moments where you just don't feel like yourself, until you're practically invincible. In other words, after using Neurodrine for 6 months, you could deal with pretty much anything life, other people, or unforeseen events throw at you, and your bulletproof brain would automatically give you a solution to any problem. It's like your brain would transform into an idea machine that's so smart and intelligent others will be impressed. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, this sounds really exciting. How do I get started? Simply choose your package below, and you'll be taken to a secure checkout page where you'll enter your order details. And within just 5 business days from now, you should receive Neurodrine right at your front door. So go ahead and click one of the buttons below now to secure Neurodrine while there are some bottles in stock. This should be an absolute no-brainer because you're covered by a lifetime 100% money-back guarantee. It works like this. Begin using Neurodrine now. Feel how your brain neurons get unclogged and your mind gets clearer. You'll notice your thinking gets sharper, your concentration improves. You may even feel your brain operating at a higher RPM, which may give you the urge to do something, to put your extra brain power to good use. Almost like magic, you may feel younger, more fun to be around. And if for any reason you're not happy with your results using Neurodrine, simply email or call my customer team 24/7. And we'll give you a prompt and immediate refund with 0 questions asked. You have nothing to lose here, except the mental sluggishness and brain inflammation that's destroying your mind from the inside. It's a 100% risk-free investment. So go ahead and click on one of the buttons below now to get started healing your brain and mind. This presentation is now ending and the choice is yours. You can do nothing and go on with your day. But will that change how your mind feels? Will that make those embarrassing memory lapses go away? What's going to happen in weeks, months, or a year from now? Will your brain get better on its own, or will it get worse? God forbid, how will you feel with toxic chemicals and harmful bacteria attacking your brain, causing inflammation that keeps spreading, continuing to attack your brain cells, sucking your mental energy, disrupting your sleep, even causing you to walk and act slower, making you talk slower? The sad truth is, most people wait too long before taking action. And if left untreated, your deteriorating blood-brain barrier and the inflammation associated with it could cause heart problems, abnormal cell growth, or even death. I'm not saying this to scare you, but because I want you to make the right choice. Take back your health and click one of the buttons below. Right now, you can get Neurodrine for just $69 per bottle. And for even less than that, you can get one of the more popular packages. Plus, because I really want you to heal your body and mind once and for all, I'm also giving you free shipping. When supplies for Neurodrine run out, it will be 3 months until we get more in. When the pilot program ends, the price goes back up to $147 per bottle. So I can at least break even instead of losing money with each bottle I sell. All of which means you really must act now and receive your order of Neurodrine to your front door in just a few short days from now. It's your decision, but it's your last chance. Thank you for reading, and God bless. Alan Walker.